Adam got stuck in another country, which almost killed him, I think.
As I'm quite literally getting ready to board in 10 minutes, and I get a text message saying, apologies, your flight has been cancelled. I'm like, great. But it turned out what it was some huge, unprecedented air traffic control problem in the whole of England. I've had flights cancelled before, and then normally either later that day they'll rearrange it, or maybe the next day. I've never had one that's rearranged for 5 days from now. And they had a bout of explosive diarrhea. There was a video of it showing the aftermath, and there was just shit everywhere. Like I don't know, it must have been more than one person.
Somebody shits on the floor, somebody throws up, then somebody throws up and shits themselves. Everyone's like just thrown up and shit themselves all on the plane. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Josh. And welcome back to the Breaking Bread podcast, where chaos reigns supreme, nothing is planned, and sponsors won't touch us with a 10-foot dick pole. But that's just the way we like it. Actually, I was going to say how you doing, but I know how you've been doing, so I'm reluctant to say, because it might sound a bit facetious, because you've had a stressful few weeks, haven't you, mate? Getting your first documentary on TV. I mean, I hate TV, but it's quite the accomplishment, isn't it? I'm very proud of you, mate. How are you feeling, though, really?
For camera, it's been great. Me and George know the truth, but yeah, no, it's some achievement. It's good. I think
you got something on Channel 4.
Yeah, Channel 4 now. It's live on the platform, and it will be going now every week up until October 31st.
And what I will say is, really the only thing you're accountable for is the way it looks, the pacing of it, and the way it sounds, and all those things are fantastic. And
yes.
It's very rare you're going to get that kind of sincerity out of me when I'm complimenting you.
No, I appreciate that. If anybody's interested, it's called Stage to the Cage, and it's the octagon behind the scenes of Paul Smith versus Jake Quickenden. Big shout out,
big household names.
Yeah, big shout out to George. He's George. To say you were a singer, you were a bum, yeah? You were a bum 2 years ago.
Well, he was busking outside boats.
Never even picked up a piece of edited software. To 2 years later, Channel 4 piece, that's some rise to fame, that, innit?
He's just fucking sickeningly talented, isn't he?
Good, that, innit?
Despicable.
Are you proud? Are your family proud?
My family don't even know what it is, to be honest. No, I keep having to explain what I do.
My old man's had to go around to all grandparents' houses and show them how to use like streaming platforms. And
I told my mum about it. I told my mum about it, and she went on Channel 4 and she's like, "Oh yeah." Then I had to log in, so I thought, "Oh,
same."
So she didn't watch it. She had to log in.
Why do you have to log in? I ended up watching it on YouTube and then just casting it to my TV. So I got.
If you want to laugh, get on YouTube and read the comments, because it's brutal.
That's YouTube though. That's no reflection on. That's just YouTube.
I think that because we've been doing YouTube content for so many years, that like we've just got that bit of deadness inside us, so that we can, like, I can happily put something out into a public domain and accept whatever comments come our way, whereas I think it'd be enough to break a few people.
Yeah, you have to be of a certain mind. We said that before, to deal with like, I mean, if it helps if you just don't care about other people's opinions.
Speaking of YouTube comments,
oh, what a segue.
Can I just say something before? And I've just put a post out on the Breaking Bread Instagram page, and in the spirit of what you told me not to do before on this podcast, I put, back in the studio today, guys. Sorry for the schedule being out by a few days. BeardMeatsFood was stuck in another country due to the air traffic control issue last week. Josh Gudgeon has been busy thinking of excuses not to eat the rotten fish, and George has been slinging it about the north of England with the little jizz emoji. New episode dropping soon, and blowing a kiss.
There's a jizz emoji?
I think it's water, but everyone uses it like eggplant and jizz, don't they? Anyway, let's do the comments.
It's time for a YouTube comment from you.
Okay, so the first comment is from Matsky. Who would do best in Big Brother and Total Wipeout of the podcast hosts?
Ooh.
Can you... All right, hold on. Like, let's put this into context. If you put Adam on Big Brother, the nation would hate him.
Yeah, but I've actually said this to Lindsay before, because I hate reality TV, right? But I always think that if I did one of those shows like that, or the Celebrity Jungle thing, do you remember like the year there was like somebody had done an article in a newspaper, it said like I was like a rumoured entrant or something. Anyway, I think but they might keep me in because of like
You're the antagonist.
The inherent conflict. Like the people that watch my videos be like, this is like an evil version of Adam. But I don't. Honestly, I don't think I would do well in those. I think I would be one of those people that kind of excommunicate himself from the house at some point, just because I can't take it. You know, being surrounded by the kind of people they're going to put in there as well.
Jake Quickenden.
Like, he seems all right, but like there's some. I think I wouldn't enjoy it. And obviously, the gym that they always have is like terrible as well. You see that? I don't know why. Lindsay watched Love Island one year, and by association, I ended up watching one or part of one of the episodes, and the gym was just dog. It was like the worst thing, especially because they're all roided out as well. You'd expect they had a good gym. Anyway, by the by, I think Josh would do better on something like Big Brother. I think Total Wipeout, if I'm remembering what that actually is that like Ninja
the
Warrior?
One that Richard Hammond like hosted.
That was where they jump on the
red
balloons.
balls.
You know, like the balls.
I was thinking Ninja Warrior, because if it had been Ninja Warrior, I would have said like I'm winning that all day. I'm great at like a lot of like
Hey, you know what we should do?
hanging and whatnot.
We should do we could go do it. We'll all go film it. We'll just stick it on Patreon as like a little behind this. It'll be me versus you at Ninja Warrior.
There's one near my grand's house. Near where my grands live, there's like the biggest Ninja Warrior place. It's like an official Ninja Warrior.
Should we do it?
I'm up for doing it, man.
Right.
Like, there's no way I'm losing that.
I think
Because I don't think you could like hang from stuff. I can't believe you.
I'm like a few stages back on the evolution scale. Like, look how long my arms are that were built for hanging.
But that doesn't mean that you have the strength in order to hang.
Okay.
But I mean, that's only one element of it. And things like with the require balance. I don't know what it is, like with age. Maybe it's like an inner ear thing, but my balance is getting terrible now. It used to be quite good.
You know that one where you've got to run up the wall and grab the ledge?
Yeah.
I don't think you're tall enough to run up and grab the ledge.
Fair point there, because I'm just thinking, hanging, but that's only one part of it, so I don't know. But Total Wipeout, I think I'd just...
All right, we're making this happen.
That I don't think...
Patreon exclusive.
I think you probably win both of them, to be fair.
Oh.
Like, if it was Total Wipeout, not if Ninja Warrior would... I brought that into it, but... let's try. I'll be up for doing that.
That'd be a good day. Let's do it.
Good comment.
Good comment. What it?
Matsky.
Matsky. Cheers, Matsky.
Second comment from Paul Gurr 1709. Not sure if Adam is aware, but there seems to be an uplift in reacting to videos to his content. What are his thoughts on these? Do you just get views for... Do these just get views for another content creator, or is there benefits for the originator?
Were you recording before we actually started the podcast?
No.
You could have just inserted that.
Yeah, could have.
That's on a bit of a rant. Yeah.
Come on, his blood pressure's just come back down.
I know, man. Did you try to wind me up or something? I think most people know. I said certainly if they watch the podcast or listen to it, I hate reaction videos. Just in general, unless they're the kind where they offer some kind of like I've said before, I watched this channel called Rick Beato, right? He reacts to music, but as a music producer, so he tells you musicologically why songs are good, and he can tell you like, he takes like little tracks from Beat It, or whatever, or like famous songs and tells you what's great about them. So that's interesting, right? And that's proper fair use because it's for the sake of academia, right? But videos where it's just be a person going like, whoa, this is fire, bro. Oh, like this is dope, or whatever kids say these days.
Whoa, look at this scruffy little hairy bastard with food all in his beard.
I don't want to unnecessarily dig people out, but I really dislike those types of videos.
What a polite way to put it.
Because I just don't. They're lazy, and in addition to that, personally, I think there are loads of them around, right? And to me, you could argue that the underlying creator of the content gets some exposure and all that, right? But ultimately, it's a person using somebody else's hard created content to just produce their own content.
You can't put petrol in your Lamborghini with exposure, can you, Beard? Do you know what I mean, mate?
Precisely, and it's really not a monetary thing either, because it's derived for me from you see it a lot on Facebook pages when you get a personality, right? And people have offered it to me loads of times, like networks and production houses and whatnot. Say, we've got this bank of curated content that you can react to. We want to see you do reaction videos. And I'm like, well, no, because I know for a fact you've not paid those creators for that content. You've just said to them, we'll give your video to BeardMeatsFood. Oh, you look at the exposure you get from some fucking idiot with a beard who eats food reacting to your video of, I don't know, you swallowing fucking marbles or whatever it might be. I just don't think it's ethically the right thing to do. But at the same time, I'm not going to get into any beef about it, right? If you want to do it,
but tune in next week, because if another one pops up, he's gonna have some beef. Copyright claim.
Ultimately, I can copyright claim them all. So like, if I were that way inclined, I could take all the money. But it's not really a question of the money, if you ask me. You're
a man of morals, aren't you? Any more comments?
Got another comment from Tilted Taste. I'm so glad Adam is there to express my frustration with Josh and his lack of watching amazing films. I have friends who are the same way, and it's a constant struggle.
It's hard, isn't it, man?
Getting your friends?
If you're a cinephile, you just love... Don't make any jokes about that word. And you just love film, right? When people, especially when somebody's job entails the use of a camera, you kind of think, come on, at least you have to have watched certain seminal films. But it's all right, man. I'm not going to get stressed out today.
We've got one more from Gene Longsden 1696. I was surprised that Josh knew the film Top Gun. I expected him to think it was like Top Gear, but for firearms. Lol.
That's good, man. Or woman. Gene Longsden.
Yeah.
Could be a French man or a woman.
It could be.
Jean Longsden. Yeah, the same. But I mean, like Top Gun's something I would have expected Josh to watch because it's high octane, right? People flying. Have you seen the new Top Gun?
No.
Do we cover this before? Is that what the comments about?
I think we might have done, yeah.
Oh, man, I hated that film, but a lot of people really liked it. Win some, you lose some.
I forgot to mention actually, Adam. I had a sponsorship offer for you from for your channel.
For me?
Yeah. And so I got a phone call from an agency in Leeds, and they were like, we're doing work for X company, and they make. I don't want to give it. I probably won't give it away, but they make knockoff products of like McDonald's. So, like, you know, instead of like a Big Mac, they'll call it like a Mad Stack or something. But it'll look, you know, like when you're in Aldi or whatever, you can see they've got similar
but I mean,
branding.
You've not given that away to me. I don't know who does that, but okay.
I think there's a couple of them do it, but anyway, they're like, we think that it'd be a good fit if Adam was to do like an eating challenge. So the phone call went.
It was a phone call?
Yeah, BeardMeatsFood and Rate My Takeaways. Right. So they explained the product to me before I let them down.
Lad, this is the worst picture I'm playing.
And they were like, if you did like an eating challenge with these things, so I thought I'll Google it, and it had like 1-star reviews because they're frozen, like the frozen burgers and stuff. And I was like, look, I said, Rate My Takeaway. I'll give Danny a ring because he probably will do it. However, Adam categorically will not do it. And it's like, have you got any idea of what the costs may be associated? I said, well, if you listen to Breaking Bread podcast episode, I don't know, fucking 69, you'll remember that Adam turned down a brand deal of £35,000 for a 60-second ad read on an app. So for him to endorse this product, I imagine it'd be a lot more than that. And I imagine they're not going to want to spend that amount of money. So have I made the right assumption? I don't want to take money out of your pocket, mate.
No, mate, in fact, what you should have done is you should have donned a beard, put on a baseball cap backwards. You could have filmed yourself, made yourself a pretty penny there. Yeah. No, I mean, I certainly wouldn't have done that. No, not for any money.
We should do that and just do that like face thing where you put Adam's face onto your face.
We'll use Photoshop AI. And
yeah. And just do that.
Why not?
So yeah, look out for that on Rate My Takeaways YouTube channel.
I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for that
now. So come on, tell us about the trip, mate. Those that are listening, you know that we sort of half missed an upload and then we're a little bit behind. It's a bit of a mess at the minute. Adam got stuck in another country, which almost killed him, I think.
I don't react well to obstacles which emerge. I was in Sweden, right? But I flew into and back from Copenhagen just because it's easier for where in Sweden I was planning on being. That makes sense. But yeah, on the way home, I checked in. I was in the lounge, just taking a load off.
First class lounge.
No, it's a business class lounge, and it was actually kind of terrible. But that's because probably because they're short haul flights and whatnot. But yeah, I had a nice little bit of salad, some chicken and whatnot. Did some emails. Avoided some of your questions in the Breaking Bread chat. I pick up my bag as I'm quite literally getting ready to board in 10 minutes. And I get a text message saying, apologies, your flight has been cancelled. I'm like, great. But it turned out what it was there was some huge, unprecedented air traffic control problem in the whole of England.
Has anyone got to the bottom of that? Is it just England, or I thought it was like the world?
No, it was just England.
Ah, right.
Because like all the other flights were fine, going from, say, like Copenhagen to Abu Dhabi or whatever. It was just England. And I think I did hear somebody actually messaged me, I think, telling me specifically what had gone wrong. Probably something that works in air traffic control, one would imagine. But I think it was something to do with like somebody not entering data properly, and then it kind of fucked up all the flight plans, and they got it fixed quite quickly, but then they had to reduce the number of flights because they didn't want planes crashing into each other, I guess.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I got stuck. The weird thing, I've had flights cancelled before, and then normally either later that day they'll rearrange it, or maybe the next day. I've never had one that's rearranged for 5 days from now. So like, it made me feel for the experience was really quite terrible in the airport because like everyone going to England, pretty much their flight's been cancelled. So you saw families and whatnot, and I thought, man, I hope none of these people have been delayed for 5 days because you've got a family of 4 and you're sleeping on the floor of an airport. You're pretty much done for because they didn't have like any reps or anything saying, oh, it's okay, we got you booked into this hotel. Like I've had flights cancelled before, and normally they're generally pretty good. Like the last one I think was British Airways, and they were like, we booked you into this hotel, we're going to fly out tomorrow. Here's like a 50 quid food voucher. Yeah. This time you had to take a ticket. It was like, as soon as you're getting comedies and sitcoms, we take a ticket and it says like number 382 and the numbers are like 18.
Oh no.
And there were 3 people working. So you couldn't really do anything, So I don't know how those people, I'm lucky enough that all my expenses come off the top line, right? Yeah. So I just thought, okay, get my luggage, go stay in Copenhagen for another few days off Mrs. Beard. And then I managed to get home a few days later via a connecting flight, which cost me loads of money. Yeah, but I got to go to Paris, where they do have quite a nice lounge.
So how long were you in Paris for?
About 90 minutes.
Oh, right.
So I didn't get to actually explore Paris, but Paris Airport, Charles de Gaulle.
That's a big airport, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fucking. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Either they've got like they don't have like terminal 1, 2, 3. It's like terminal 1 A B C D E F, and those are all separate terminals. And then like,
I've been through it. I can't remember what for. Man, that sounds like one of my pals. He got stuck in Ibiza at the same time. I imagine he had a better experience. Just go straight. Just stay in the hotel. Carry on partying
for a week. Somebody actually messaged me after because I put it up on. I said I'm stuck in Copenhagen on Instagram. I don't know why. And somebody messaged me saying, "Oh yeah, I had the same thing." And we had to rent a car. Because I thought about this actually. He rented a car and drove it all the way back to England. I think he lived in the south, like somewhere in Dorset or something. But he drove it.
Can you do that?
You can do it. I asked the first 2 rental companies that I spoke to try and get a car after I just returned the car. And their policy was that you could take it to almost everywhere in mainland Europe.
Yeah.
Apart from Russia. I think we can all imagine why. But you couldn't then take it and drop it off in England.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe it's something left-right drive kind of thing. I don't know. But whoever he had used, clearly they did allow it, or he just decided to not pay attention to that rule. I don't know. But it would have been like an 18-hour drive, which I don't think I'm equipped for, really. But I made it back in it. It's all right.
How was the trip then? What did you go up to? That's what second time you've really done a proper European trip.
Yeah, but I'm really enjoying it, man. Like, there's something nice about it where it's because you go away to America or Canada, whatever, somewhere far flung for 3 weeks. You're kind of in the zone. You're sharp when it comes to creating videos, and they typically tend to get better just because you're fully just working the whole time, editing, filming. But they are like by the time you've been there a week, you're kind of ready for home naturally. Because if you're eating every other day, it doesn't feel good after a week or so. And so going to Europe for like a week, it's something you can do because it's only 90 minutes away or 2 hours away. You could work for a week, then come back, and you still feel kind of fresh. It doesn't feel like quite as big a commitment, I suppose. But also it's a bit of an adventure as well, right? Because people don't speak English although in Sweden almost everyone speaks English.
Yeah.
I encountered one person that could not speak English. But yeah, I think it's just more fun. Like there's a bit of a sense of adventure about where you are. Something a bit more fun about it. And also with this one, there were the first videos like burgers, right? But then the 2 after that are like traditional Swedish foods, which is what it's all about, right? Like the whole reason I go to Sweden, or if I go to Germany or Morocco or wherever, is that you want to do a food challenge, which is real, which really exists on a menu somewhere, but it's their own kind of local cuisine. Because there's only so many burger challenges you can do, or pizza, or So that was funny, and I enjoyed it, and pretty happy with the videos that I did while I was out there. So
when's that going out then? Like January?
It literally is in January.
Yeah. And did you have to start them like, Happy New Year?
The first one I did start is Welcome to 2024, yeah.
Is it?
And when I'm filming it, I'm like, this is insane. Welcome to 2024 and we're in August. What's wrong with you?
Jeez.
But that's because I've had to leave room for people expect Christmas themed
Yeah.
videos, don't they? So in December, it might be maybe late December if there's nothing.
So if we mess up your deadline for your video that we've done, you're still in the green. You're still safe.
I'm still safe, but it's going to wind me up to the point that like, no, it won't be that bad. But I would like that. I think that's going to be a good one. Only the edit team here at Get Your Media PLC can tell me if it's any good. But I'm quite looking forward to seeing what that looks like because it felt a bit flat at the time, but the premise is actually really good.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be
so. And I like doing those because they're more, when you're doing the same type of content. We've said this before.
Yeah.
To do something which is just a little bit different is nice and it's refreshing.
Me and Josh both said afterwards that like wherever we go moving forward, we need to stay there the night before, just for like the
laughs.
the vibes,
Yeah, just had another 1,000 quid to my billionaire. I thought that might be it. But yeah, it was cool, man. Yeah.
What have we been up to for the last 2 weeks, George? 3 weeks? When was the last time we recorded? It must have been 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? 3 weeks?
I think it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks.
Look, recorded
So
one
we did two
podcast
at once.
Yeah.
We did 2 at once.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right before I went to Sweden, so it's not that long ago.
Feels like a lifetime.
2 to 3 weeks.
What have we been
I'd
up
say.
to?
Slaving away on Octagon
Yeah, you've been sat there.
Channel 4.
All right, steady, Judge. Steady. You don't want to compromise this man's like
Yeah. We'll tell-
professional integrity.
Let's get the last episode out. We'll tell the truth. We might never see the end of this. I went to London, didn't I? Is that straight after?
Interesting that you should bet. Is that you went there with Josh Blewett?
Yeah.
Command. Because I've got quite the interesting, for somebody who insults my ability to drive and park quite frequently, I've got quite an interesting picture of you attempting to park your ludicrously oversized tactical vehicle in the middle of a street in London.
Yeah, we were filming in Kensington. Really nice, actually. Never been.
How much do those terraced houses cost? About 4 million quid each.
More. There were more. There were like multiple millions. Like I went on Rightmove. I was like, this place is unbelievable. Because I just assumed London were a shithole, right? I've not been that often. But Kensington, I thought I could live here. I can't afford to live here.
Yeah, but would you, like, if you had the option, would you pay, like, say you had 4 million quid?
No, I wouldn't know.
You would, because I mean, you could pay 4 million quid for a small terraced house in Kensington. If you take 4 million quid and go up to like Teesside, you could basically buy a fucking castle. You could probably buy Middlesbrough for 4 million
I
quid.
said that to her. Like, we,
You know what I mean?
We were on set in this lady's house. It was like a really studio-y, housey thing. And it was really nice, but I'm sure she was charging £1,000 plus a day for the set, just for us to use the room, the building. It was heavy. And I thought, and it must have been worth 5 or 6 million quid, this place. And I thought, if I had 5 or 6 million pounds, would I live here? I can't park.
It's mind blowing, isn't it?
I can't park. I can't. There's a little Italian deli across the road, which was fun for like 2 days. But I'm like, why would anybody live here? And it was so far away from like, London's massive. I can't get over how big it actually is. It's just so vast. Because one of the guys came to meet us and he was in East London and we were in West London. And it took him an hour and a half or an hour and 40 minutes to get from one side to the other using the public transport. I was like, how do people go about their survive?
You know, my mate Ronnie Hart. You don't know him, but he's a competitive eater, professional wrestler as well. They recently had a natives qualifier in England, and he says to me, he's like, for a bit of a gimmick, I think he gets like air miles through maybe his spouse. I don't know, but he's like, I might come and try and win it. You know, in England that'd be a laugh. I'm like, yeah, cool, man. So he messages me. He's like, right, I'm in London, man. Like, how much is an Uber going to cost me to? Where was it, like Celsius, which is near Southampton? I'm like, Uber? I'm like, I don't pay fucking 400 quid, man. He's like, okay, well, so what's on the train? Like 20 minutes. I'm like, what? I'm like, it'll take you 2 hours to get out of central London. Yeah. So yeah, Greater London is huge, isn't it? I mean, when we did the cake video, it took us an hour to travel 5 miles.
Yeah.
Into London, right?
It was funny because when we were down there, the day I was leaving, I had like this. I'm like, this is. I'm sure we're near where the big Croissant is, and we're 10 minutes away from the Croissant place.
Do you think we should do that one, man? Like, I feel like it's just. Did somebody tell me about that? Because I feel like I didn't see it. But anyway, there's this place in London where you can you could buy like a giant, like England's biggest croissant.
Yeah.
Right? And they also do England's biggest pan of chocolate.
Yes.
Which is the same thing, basically. One has chocolate in. But they're big and they're obviously for like, social media, TikTok attention and all that. And I thought, hey, maybe we could do a video doing that. But I kind of feel like...
I think it'd be class, that.
But
just because
I feel
it's
like
such
it's not that hard though.
No, it's not. But like, it is just what it is. Like, it's so preposterously big. Like that would be like, wouldn't it be a really good thumbnail? 2, you could try speed eat it. Like, how fast can you try beat me? You've got to add some sort of element of competitiveness to it.
Yeah. Do they do the giant cup of coffee with it as well, or is that something else I've seen?
No.
You can just dunk it and the giant, because that make it worthwhile. Like an almost fatal amount of coffee, and you dunk your croissant. That maybe we'll figure that out.
You could use that most days coming in here.
You're right. Yeah.
Let's put that one in the maybe. Let's put that in the maybe pile.
Yeah, but it's still in my maybe pile.
All right, I think,
really.
And Kensington were really nice. It wasn't too bad to get to.
Maybe if we could do it with somebody, like that, because then it doesn't really matter that if it's hard or easy. You've got the preposterous size of the thing, and then
You don't like anybody though.
No, that's not true. There are quite few. I mean, like you have to be a certain type. I don't have to like him anyway. Beat him over the head with the croissant.
I think Danny from Wreck My Takeaway is desperate to do it with you.
I was thinking maybe somebody from London, because then that gives you a nice narrative point, doesn't it? We could maybe ask Kate. I don't know if she'd be up for doing a video with Beauty and the Beast kind of thing.
Nah, she would. Kate were a good sport, wouldn't she?
Yeah, she was. She's the only person that's actually said yes to coming on the podcast that we don't actually know in some way. Maybe, or like, I don't know, somebody else, some other Cockney, somebody from down south. Danny Dyer? Reckon he? Nah, probably not, right?
What about that fella, Stephen Bartlett?
Nah, probably not.
True Geordie, he's down there now.
But he's not, I know, aren't your mates sponsoring his podcast and not ours?
That was a comment, wasn't it?
I hadn't seen that, but...
Yeah, there was a comment. It was something like, Octagon have sponsored True Geordie's podcast as if they've not sponsored yours.
I think that's because people actually listen to True Geordie.
Yeah.
For what reason, I can't tell you.
Yeah, we don't know.
But they tend to listen to us.
We're underground. Oh, that's what you just reminded me. One of our subscribers has nominated us for the podcast, Britain's Podcast Awards. What were it called?
I saw that.
What was it called?
Unbelievable. Something like that. The British Podcast Awards. I don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say about that is thank you very much for the effort. I can't imagine we'd win, and you know how I feel about awards. I don't really want to win, but thank you for the sentiment.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to win it, but it's appreciated.
If we won it on like no, there's no way.
If we'd have found out
metric by which we could win,
if we'd have found out maybe like more than 2 days before the thing closed, we might have been able to tell more people about it. Us mentioning it now doesn't help us because the entry's closed.
It wouldn't help us anyways, man. Like, it's like, we're not even, I listened to a podcast, but I meant to tell you about this, because somebody told me about it and they mentioned being like halfway through because they had this food historian on there. Did I tell you about it?
Maybe.
And that was like number 72, which doesn't sound that high, but it was ranked 72 in all world podcasts, right? Wow. And it was terrible. Right, and I like that's the reason I'm not mentioning the actual name of the podcast. But I was just thinking, I think the host was drunk, which, depending on what type of drunk you are, could be entertaining. But he just kind of kept interrupting the co-host, which I do a lot, but not because I'm drunk. And so it didn't really have any flow. And I thought, well, this gets to number 72, so clearly we're just too green, and we're still too fresh to really be appreciated.
Although we are rolling in on that episode 100, so I think like we're getting into our stride now. We are still very new to the game.
Most podcasts are like backed by some kind of media network, though, which we're not. We're like the definition of independent.
Do you remember that London agency that got in contact that I mentioned? That's gone quiet. Which, to be fair,
the ones who were talking about sponsorship and stuff. I knew it would.
So they're desperate. I spoke to them initially. They were like, "Oh, it's going to be class. Like, we can do all these things for you." Then I was like, all right, let's have a follow-up. Like, what do you suggest? I sent you the list of what they suggested.
Yes, you did,
and I said, all right, cool, let's do a follow-up call then so you can elaborate on these points. Between the guy that runs that section of the agency and the fellow that works for him, neither of them have managed to nail down a date. This is 3 weeks now. And I'm literally sat there going, what a fucking shit show. Like, if you can't arrange, if I'm chasing you up.
He's getting mad.
Yeah, but if I'm chasing you up for this meeting that you've requested of us, fucking, what are they going to be like if they actually tried to help us? They're not going to help us?
But I told you that about almost anyone that approaches. Just like usually like a half-baked idea that, let's get these people involved and part of our like little network. And look, man, the longer we're independent, I know it would make, in fact, we hemorrhage money, but like As long as we're enjoying it, right, man? We get to do what we want. That's why I'm not part of any multi-channel networks. I don't have to fucking do videos with I don't know, the Chicken Shop Girl or not. There's anything wrong with that. I totally go on that show. Actually, do you have to be single to go on that?
No.
Because I thought it's a date, right? But is it people just acknowledge that it's not a real date?
Yeah.
I just I don't have to do the media circuit and all that. I just get to do what I want when I want, within reason. As much as Mrs. Beard allows.
Unfortunately, me and George are not quite in that boat just yet, so that's more. Poor George has been sat. His ass is imprinted in that edited software. That sweet over there.
Man, like, I'll tell you what though, like, not that I want to condescend to you, George, but if I could be doing a job that George was doing at his age, I'd be loving it, man. I was working at a bank at that. How old are you?
24.
That's mad, that.
Oh, God. 24 is good though. It's a good age.
24. Editing Channel 4 documentaries and slinging it about the north. Just dropping loads everywhere. Go on, George. You're living the dream, you.
You know, you said you said you wanted to do one take with no edits in the middle. Avoid poor George's love life over there. I can see he's dying inside a bit. Do we have actually anything to talk about today? We're just rambling.
Just rambling.
Sweet.
So I were on a shoot in London. That one in Kensington was with a company called Heights. So they do like supplements. It's not an ad, obviously, because we're not from sponsored.
You're on shaky ground here,
but
boy.
the guy
to shut you down.
Sorry, the guy that ran it was a guy called Dan Murray-Serter, who was one of the first guys to go on Diary of a CEO when that podcast.
Diarrhea of a CEO?
Diary of a CEO. Diary.
That'd be more entertaining. We'll do like a little parody segment, Diarrhea of a CEO. And the CEO comes on and tells us about their diarrhea stories.
But he was a super cool guy, probably a nice guy.
George, write that down.
He was on there when he was actually interviewing CEOs of big companies, because it's like scaled and sold the London business. But he was telling me this all week. I'm going to Burning Man. I'm going to Burning Man. It's been for seven times, and I thought, and we explained it. Burning Man sounds fucking class. Apart from this year, did you see it?
Yeah.
Did you see it, George?
No.
So Burning Man's like a festival in the desert for 2 weeks. The
literal desert, right?
Yeah, it's like self-sustaining.
It's just northeast of some city.
It's in the Nevada desert, right?
Yeah, in a dried out lake bed, which is part of the problem.
So it's been going on for a decade, maybe more probably. He's been for the last 7 years. This year, it had a flood. It had like torrential downpour. It had like a month, I guess a decade's worth of rain in about a week, and the lake bed started to flood, so it turned into a swamp.
Right.
The funniest part about that
They declared a state of emergency.
Did they cancel it then?
I think they did cancel. They cut it short, but they couldn't get people out.
Were you going somewhere with the point before I interrupt you?
No, it was like a fucking fire festival situation.
He went to that, yeah. Because what was I going to say? Is the funniest part about that was the British reaction to it, George, because you see like
Leeds Fest,
Glastonbury, Leeds Festival, etc. If it rains, it is a literal swamp, right? But there were people like bleeding Yanks. They can't take a bit of rain, which I found quite funny. But I think the problem actually was just the fact that it's so distant from anything that like you couldn't get out.
Yeah,
and I think to get out you have to walk. And there's something about like the alkaline content of the soil, because it's in a dried out lake bed, does something really bad to you. Like you get trench foot or something.
Yeah.
Or something like. Did you see the video of Chris Rock being rescued
on the back of a pickup?
Yeah. Like somebody had gone there in this truck and they'd seen, who was the most valuable person to save it? Chris Rock. Let's get him on it. Yeah. So yeah.
What a nightmare. What else did we do, George? Actually, I went to London.
Show him your stress level monitor. You showed me the other day.
It's
got like an app on his phone.
So I've got the Garmin watch, right, and it tells you like it uses your heart. It takes your heart rate variability, and if you like overworked or you're tired or whatever, you'll notice it dips, and it means that you're probably going to get sick or your body's sort of fighting something. So after the marathon, my heart rate variability dropped into the red for about 3 days because my body were under so much stress after doing that. And I thought, fair fucks, came back out sound. For the last month, I've been like I still think I'm dying.
I was gonna say you here. It was just like a ghostly apparition.
But like, I've been in the red for a month. People I'm not reading the comments on this. People are like, you fucking dying. I came out for 2 days. Look, I had a weekend off, and I actually slept. One of them I slept for 12 hours.
Like you need to like.
You know
How
when
do you
people
get this? You have to have the watch, right?
Yeah, you know when people say that they're stressed, or let's say that they're like tired and overworked. Like that's like a literal representation. Like
It's kind of scary, that, man. You're probably like a higher risk of something like, stroke and.
yeah, thanks, mate. Just tell me about that. I'll add to it.
Well,
But to be fair, last night I came back into what would be normal range. So hopefully
It'll be all right now until, of course, I start badgering you about this Christmas song. Or asking you to film more videos. So I'll hold off on that for now.
What else have we been up to? Last 2 weeks. Where else did I go? Oh, went to watch Boyce Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
You heard of Boyce Avenue?
I did, yeah. And you know what I said to, because you put up a story, or I saw some story that you were involved in, and I replied quite wittily, I think, by saying it must be a pleasant change to be associated with a parody artist who is actually good.
Yeah.
Because, well, they're not a parody, a cover artist, I said. Because they originally rose to fame actually they were one of the earliest examples of the power of YouTube, right? Because
Absolute OGs, aren't
they
they?
used to just do good covers of songs. I didn't know they played gigs, though. I had no idea. I didn't know you could see them live.
Apparently they've been touring, like, obviously for the last 15 years. Like, they started on YouTube in 2007. I think YouTube started in 2005, right?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. And they started in 2007.
It started 10 years after.
So
YouTube
we
started.
were shooting a doc for one of our clients, and one of the members of Boyce Avenue went in to see him and then invited us down, and we got to go backstage. And like, they are really, really, as you would expect, they're fantastic live. So really cool to actually sort of see him live and then meet him afterwards. Speak to all of the three brothers, and then they were sort of like telling the tale of YouTube over the years.
Yeah.
And their thought process on it is very similar to yours, actually. Like, pretty much YouTube rewards good content. How could they make high quality cover music videos that the audio is perfect and the video is incredible, and that's what they've aimed for the last 16 years.
It's interesting that, isn't it? Because I would always have thought, like, because there are loads of people doing covers now, right,
Yeah.
on YouTube, and actually loads of people like Dua Lipa. Didn't she get a record deal? She originally did videos on YouTube.
I don't know, to be honest.
I think that's true.
Know
but
about
it
that.
might
Have a
not
quick
be.
Google of that, George, if you can.
While I'm rambling, you Google that, George, and not that I want to tell you what to do. I'm not your boss. But I think that even back then, you would kind of think like, well, what is it that makes people want to watch this? Because I mean, I saw those videos, but I didn't like watch every one or anything. So I suppose that would be kind of...
What, the Boyce Avenue videos?
Yeah, for me, that'd be quite difficult. Like, what is it that makes people want to come back if you're just doing cover
Like
tunes?
the way I explained it, because I mean, like, so Charlie who had not heard of him. So Charlie, who runs the watch company that they came to see, he was like, I've never heard of him. I'm like, oh, we actually play him all the time in the house because it's music that everybody recognizes, but it's more like...
It's chilled out, right? It's like,
it's chilled out.
like
It's
a folky,
yeah, it's just good
rock,
background music,
soft rock.
Yeah, so like I think that's why people listen to it, is because it's music that or tracks that everybody knows, but it's just all very sort of easy listening.
Yeah, the one that I always remember. Don't ask me why, but I always remember they did a cover of that song by Neo, "Closer." And I just can't love myself away. That one, and I thought that's like, if that song were good.
Boyce Avenue would be the example.
Yeah, they play it with real instruments, therefore, But I don't think Neo was quite a good dancer, right? Remember that? Like, didn't he do like a dance routine with a hat and everything? Am I thinking of Usher? Similar kind of artists, right? Although, do you know what my favorite Usher song is?
Sure.
Usher song. Do you know what my favorite Usher song is?
The one with Justin Bieber.
No, actually, my favorite Usher song is one that not when he got like mega big. Do you remember that one that called "You Remind Me of a Girl"? No, you remind me of a girl that I once knew. See her face whenever I look at you. That one. That's a really cool song, but that's probably about the only Usher song I actually like. Anyway, that was a tangent. But yeah, Boyce Avenue was cool.
Yeah, really good. Like the nicest guys as well.
I bet that can be annoying though, if like they get people shouting out a cover of a song they did like 10 years ago and they're like, well, we don't know how to play that anymore.
But if they were a good band, they'd probably want to be able to play all of them, right?
But think
Most
of the
bands
amount of covers they've done.
True.
How are you going to still know how to play all those?
Because the set were like an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and a half. Like the fact that they could remember
They
all
play any
the...
Machine Gun Kelly?
Yeah, they did. No, they didn't.
Of course not. I think that was a big part of their appeal as well, is that they used to really do kind of soft rock covers of pop songs, right? And R&B songs rather than you know, what say George does, where he's a rock band that covers rock songs, presumably.
Funk.
If you like, yeah.
Bit of funk.
What, Jamiroquai?
I'm learning a bit of that at the minute, actually.
That's about the only
Virtual insanity.
Yeah, so the best thing about that was the video, right? Is that the one with the travelators?
Yeah.
And I love the fact you used to just totally get away with in public wearing that massive furry hat. You know, what's he called? JK.
What, his real name?
Yeah, there was the main guy from Jamiroquai, the singer. He called JK. Obviously, his name was not JK, but like, I mean, they called him JK, right? Anyway, yeah, I didn't mind Jamiroquai. I like a little bit of funk. I use a lot of funk in my videos because it has like a certain groove to it, which helps propel things forward from a musicology perspective.
We're trying to take like pop songs, but make them
funky.
That's the goal.
Did you find out about Dua Lipa?
Yeah, so she started posting covers when she was 14 on YouTube. And then she did some...
I was right.
She became a model when she was like 17, 18.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she started doing music again.
I mean, yeah, that does make sense. That career trajectory does make sense.
In other news, Tory Mike has finally been evicted from the chat. The day came, didn't it, boys?
What, you talk about Tory Mike like people fucking know him? Nobody knows him. Did you get him is he actually in the video that we shot? Is he going to be in it?
He appears in certain bits. I'm like, I don't know whether that footage will make the cut or not.
Oh, what the part? You got to put the part in where someone eat his baby. Mike's had a new baby, right?
It's whether he wants the baby on the camera, though.
Tough
That's
shit,
the
man.
thing.
Tough shit. I'll just pay him like £100 for that gag because he's sure somebody pans around and
the college
shows Mike's baby, and I said, "Fucking listen, Mike, shut up, or I'll eat your baby." And you know I can do it.
You're like, baby, better shut the fuck up while I'm fucking eating.
Is that the way I said it?
Yeah.
You got to keep it in then.
That's never going to make the cut.
Well, at least save that footage so I can use it for something.
But yeah, with Tory Mike, I was on set with him, and these boys were popping off in the chat about Adam's video that we're currently in the process of editing, and Mike was antagonising Adam, which in turn made me angry because he was annoying George.
Because you boys were like, "Oh, we might miss the delivery date," and I said, "Fucking what? So you're going to miss my delivery date?"
So then
I was only joking.
Mike piped up, and I went, "That's it, you're out." So I was just fucking evicted. I was sat next to him. I went, "You're out."
For anyone that's new to the podcast, by the way, that's not a normal occurrence, right? They don't edit my videos typically, and we've just done a few. Which require a crew. You can normally tell them because the actual technical quality of them is much higher than mine. But
we'll see. I'm terrified of grading this now. That's my job to do in it.
But you like watching your documentary. I don't know if did you grade that?
No, we did.
I was about to say that was really good.
So right,
can you get him to do it?
I actually thought that as well. I thought I might actually send it to him. We as part of the stress levels of the last few months, we had done all that. But because it was going on then onto Channel 4, it had to meet certain parameters of which we couldn't achieve in the editing software that we'd done fucking 10
But what they're like, provided it's under 100 exposure and over 0 exposure.
You wouldn't believe the red tape to get that thing onto television. It's fucking unbelievable, isn't
I
it?
feel like you're having a hard time letting it go.
Oh, mate.
You're more bitter than this coffee.
It's unbelievable. So we had to get an external editor to do that, like little packaging it up of it, just because times are ticking and we'd done it once.
Yeah.
I ain't doing it again.
The last with the cake video was
close, but it wasn't good enough.
90%. I had to correct quite a lot of things. Like the blackboard was like mega misty. I thought, as he just like slipped on the keyboard and put the midtones up to like plus 40 or something. But you know, provided it can be rectified by moi, then it's not a big of a deal.
We'll get it. What else has gone on, Georgie boy?
Not much, to be honest.
Judging by George's reactions on this, he's slowly deflating. Like every time you ask him a question, it's just like there's a little bit more air coming out of him. You know what I did?
Thinking about the shit I've got to do.
I watched just in case you're interested, I watched a rather odd film the other night.
No.
Yeah.
Somebody's
You watched an odd film
again?
Yeah. It was there was no dick involved. Much to your disappointment, I'm sure. It was a film called Tusk, which is with
I
Justin
told you about that a few weeks ago on the podcast.
Shut the fuck up.
This was
Tell us about it, John.
one of the very few things I actually committed to memory that you told me. Have you seen
the
it?
one where it turns him into a
walrus?
A walrus, yeah.
Yes. So, you know Justin Long, probably most famous for being in Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was like married to Drew Barrymore, maybe. Anyways, he's got a powerful moustache these days, and it's a weird kind of horror comedy in which he kind of goes to interview this person, and the dude turns out to be kind of a maniac who's obsessed, even you might say sexually in some way, with walruses. Walruses.
All right.
And so he fashions this suit of skin and turns just long into a walrus. It's weird, but it's a horror comedy. But Lindsay watched it with me, and she felt so ill afterwards that she had trouble sleeping, apparently. And I did hear her tossing and turning midst of the night, to the point that I could actually sleep. She wasn't snoring, so I kind of thought like, maybe I'll just watch a really unsettling film every night. And
you slept like
sleep.
a baby.
Yeah,
but there's a lot about you, that mate.
Yeah, but no, it's a strange film. But the funny thing about it is as well, Johnny Depp makes an uncredited cameo in it, but the cameo is very long. It's like a 20-minute cameo, and I almost can't tell it's him. It looks a bit like Sam Rockwell actually, because he's got a lot of facial prosthetics on.
Right.
Yeah, but maybe it's because the film is that weird.
Where is this on, like Netflix?
It's on Prime. You can definitely get it on there for like £2 or something.
Like he did a cameo in 21 Jump Street as well. Have you seen that? Johnny Depp.
Yeah, but that's clearly him, isn't it?
Right at the end.
The thing is, you could like, Lindsay didn't even notice Johnny Depp when we were watching this film, and I like maybe been talking for like 40 seconds. He's got a funny voice, and I'm like, that's fucking Johnny Depp. And she's like, get the fuck out, it's Johnny Depp. So I look, and he's not in the credits, but like when you look, it's a bit like, when people do those sly, just trying to be like a little bit edgy and not be credited, or maybe you just hated the film and didn't want to be in the credits. But
have you seen The Other Guys?
Yes.
Is that the thing with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
And at the beginning, it's like Samuel L. Jackson and
The Rock.
And The Rock, and then they just jump off a building and just fucking die. It's like, because they're like chasing someone, like a cop chase or something, and they're on top of this building and like in for the bushes. It's like, and they just jump, and you just watch them in slow mo just hit the ground because you think they're the main characters.
It's just like that's pretty funny. I like that idea. Yeah, cool, man. I also watched Evil Dead Rise. Not this is a film review podcast. Although it could be. We could have like a little film.
What happened to your film podcast?
Yeah.
I just stopped doing it. It was too like this has at least got some production value behind it. That did not have any. But I don't know. Additionally, it wasn't really mine. I just kind of like much like this. I just appear on it because I don't have to do anything. Just turn up and talk. But Evil Dead Rise is actually pretty good. If you're into like the Evil Dead franchises, I'm sure you're probably not. But gets like a 6.5 out of 10 from me.
6.5 out of 10. And are you watching any films or documentaries? Or did you go home and just like sit in the dark so you don't have to watch any content whatsoever?
I need to get my screen time down. Have you watched Lord of the Rings yet?
I ain't got time.
Don't kick him off, man. I mean, come on.
I ain't got time for that.
I saw something the other day where it was like someone did a whole day marathon watching all of the Hobbit films, all of the Lord of the Rings films, all in one day. They started at about 7 a.m, didn't finish till like midnight.
Was it all the director's cuts as well, like the 4-hour extended?
I bet it's the sloppy fuck. I bet they just like sat there vegetating on the sofa.
I can't
like
think
like that from South Park, where they're all sat in the basement playing on the video games and they just get fatter and spottier. You know what I mean? Like shitting in buckets.
I've never really liked South Park. I don't watch it. I know like some of the motifs, but I never really found it that funny.
Have you seen these like AI? Like they're taking, Cartman from South Park. They're like taking him and putting his voice on like Evanescence, Bring Me to Life and stuff, and it actually sounds weirdly good.
No, AI needs to be stopped. AI needs to be
It
stopped.
can't be stopped.
It needs to be stopped.
It can't be stopped.
We need to take action to stop it.
Have we spoke about this on a podcast before? Post
We've done an episode about AI.
Yeah, but Post Malone spoke about it on Joe Rogan's podcast because he uses so much auto tune.
Yeah,
that basically like AI is like it's now got the capacity to replicate his voice. So you could type in like, I want a Post Malone song about BeardMeatsFood loving me.
Post Malone doing the garlic bread song. Somebody do that.
But like it'll generate it, and Post Malone's going, I'm fucked. Like people are they're not going to need me soon.
Nah, I don't like that argument at all. People say like, oh, AI exists now, so real intelligence is not necessary. AI is still like, all it can do is emulate. Can't do new things. In the real sense. But anyway, we don't want to get philosophical about it, do we? Did you hear about diarrhea plane? That's the only talking point I brought today. So there's a plane that was...
Is that a film?
No,
Like snakes on a plane.
it would not surprise me
Shit on a plane.
if they made it into.
You shit on a plane, €50. That's a thing
€50
between
fine.
us. You seen it?
You could make it.
Shout somebody. Hey, you owe me €50. Sorry, carry on.
Was he Mexican? Yeah, I don't think it was a plane coming from us. But no, there was a passenger plane. I don't know where it was flying from or to, but it had to be detoured or returned to its point of origin because somebody had a bout of explosive diarrhea, which I thought, like, come on, like, how bad can it be that you have to? But then there was a video of it showing the aftermath, and there was just shit everywhere. Like, I don't know, it must have been more than one person. Maybe a family that had food poisoning because there was so much shit everywhere.
Like that Family Guy scene, you know, where they all throw up. They all take like like a drink or a tablet. They all like, bah, and then it makes the other person, bah. Somebody shits on the floor, somebody throws up, then somebody throws up and shits themselves. Everyone's just thrown up and shit themselves all over the plane.
But I kind of wondered like how so much of it could be on like the carpet and like the upholstery.
Maybe it was like
because you got clothes covering. Were they taking the?
What if it was a larger lady in a skirt going commando, sneezed on the way to bog and just squirted everywhere?
On the way to bog. Yeah, I suppose that's really the only explanation for it. Somebody either wearing a skirt or a kilt. Because like
I told Charlie the other day when we were on doing the doc about when you
talk about these people like people know. I don't even know who Charlie is.
the guy from the watch place.
Yeah, but I don't know him.
Well, yeah, but you know of him. Anyway, I told him about the time that you'd explosively shit and it stuck to the mirror.
Yeah, legendary, yeah. That was like modern art. That was like a Tracy Emin piece of art. That man, I should have taken a snap and put that in like the Tate Modern or something.
They were absolutely disgusted by it. And I was like,
yeah,
you want to
would be.
see our chat? How many episodes are we in now?
It might be about 80 in now.
I think
80.
I think it's over 80.
Yeah, I think it's over 80 now.
Is the Figaro still going, by the way?
Oh, it's just like, it's really just I've not used it for ages. The left front tyre's gone flat as well, so I need to pump that up first. It was just, I don't know why I bought that, really.
Man, I saw one in Cass.
Did you?
You know that Tesco's? There was one parked there.
Yeah.
Yours still on your drive?
Wasn't mine. I wish it was mine. Calling up the insurance, so somebody stolen my prized asset. It wasn't mine.
Why do you get something else? Why don't you chop it in and get...
Because I'm trying to move house, man. I'm trying to keep my financial liabilities in order.
How's the house hunt
Not
going?
well. Best not to ask me about
Come
it.
on,
mate.
tell us
It's
about
not-
it.
It's
mate.
just, I
Did you know
can't
that?
tell.
I think it was June or July was the biggest drop in house prices in the last decade. Some shit.
All right.
There was like a mad stat.
Well, it should be because they've been like hyperinflated forever.
I know, I was
basic
watching-
knowledge of economy. Tell you that.
I was watching one of Damien. You know that fella that Damien did the videos with, that Sasha?
I thought you were going to say, you're not Damien, fella. You don't really know who he was, but that guy that just came in and sat there. The guy he did the video with.
Yeah, he did a video about it. Saying,
Where's he from, by the way? Is he
I don't know.
English?
It's called Sasha Yanshin.
Yashinasman. I just wonder where he's from because I kind of feel like if he did a video with Damien, they've actually been in a video together.
Yeah,
really,
he's like
haven't
in
they?
the UK, yeah.
So he is based in the UK.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it's from like, I don't know, Poland or something.
No, I don't know. But he made a video and he was saying that people, like, basically, in his words, we're fucked. Like, because everyone's going to go on these new mortgage rates that no one can afford. And then now people's wages are going up to try and beat, it's just causing more inflation. But the landlords are the ones that are, like, defaulting on not paying the mortgages most now. So, like, they're defaulting 4 times faster than homeowners.
Yeah.
So, like, that's also exacerbating the problem. I think we're in for a rocky ride, boys. But you might get a good deal on a house at the end of it.
I think the only way you get a good deal on a house is to move to a country with objectively fair property pricing, which I don't think we've ever had. You know, like the amount of property you can buy in different countries compared. It's like you always say, man, when you leave England, you realise almost how utopic other countries are. You know what I mean? Because you could buy. I saw a video. I'll tell you about that when I saw like a woman had bought. She's like a vlogger, and she had bought and a photographer. She bought basically not a shack. It was made of wood, but it was a house in a forest in Sweden or Norway or something for like 30 grand. And I was just sat there like, fuck, I might just buy one and just go live there for a bit of the year and be like, Linz, I just need to go off for a bit. You know? And I thought, you know what I mean? Like, even if you bought, like, I saw the other day, I was looking, it made me laugh. You know, you get those like holiday homes, basically holiday, they're like, but they're not really holiday homes, like a wooden lodge.
Yeah.
Right. But like, it was like basically a wooden bungalow in like, you know, one of the rural parts of York, so like Pocklington or something like that. It was £980,000. And I thought, that is quite literally just a posh shed. How can you charge like, oh yeah, but people say, oh, but the area, like, I don't give a fuck about the area. Like, as long as the wheels aren't going to get stolen off my car, like, I don't really care where I live. Like, why would you, you know, I don't understand why. It's a bit like the London argument. Why would you buy that for £1 million?
I thought you were going to say it like 90 grand.
No, it was £980,000. And it wasn't even that big. It was smaller in terms of square footage than my house. I don't get, the area was pretty idyllic. But I thought, like, it's a shed on a lake. You could probably buy some land and just go to, you know, get those flat pack houses from like IKEA.
Yeah.
Just get them assembled. It'd cost you less money than that. It was just perplexing to me. Maybe we could get like a real, not a real, what they call them in England.
Like an economist?
No. Like people, estate agent.
Oh, right.
A realtor. Not like
realtor.
I was going to say a real estate agent. But they do Madden as well, you know, estate agents. Not that I want to generalise.
We'll just get Damien back on to give us the lay of the land every couple of months.
Yeah, man.
He sent me a voice note. He were on holiday 2 weeks ago. And he's like, get this. It's like, I'm here with my son and I'm sat by the pool and this kid comes swimming up to us. And they must have been playing with each other. The kids. And that's what I knew what you were going to say.
Playing together would have been a more appropriate.
Sorry, yeah, the kids were playing together. And they got chatting and one kid was like, oh, my dad's a YouTuber. So the other kid's like, my dad's a YouTuber. So it's like, no way.
Like one-upmanship.
Yeah.
My dad will knock your dad.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, my dad's got like 100,000 subscribers. And other kids like Damon's got like 150,000 subscribers. Like,
fuck you, other kid.
Yeah. Like, what's your dad's name? And the kid goes, oh, Mike Winnett. And Mike's son.
No way.
He said, I'm on holiday with Mike's ex-missus and the kid, like, we're all in the same hotel. It's like, how fucking random is that?
I know nobody will know who those people really are, but like, that is an incredible coincidence. Yeah, that's mad.
I didn't notice that.
That is nuts, yeah.
Look at Breaking Bread podcast, bringing people together.
Yeah.
Mike got recognised on the plane after he'd come on our podcast by one of our subscribers because of being on this podcast.
Yeah, well, he's pretty much stopped making YouTube videos now,
Yeah,
so there's no other way he's going to be recognised.
Notice that, innit?
Apart from for his powerful chin. He could definitely play Batman.
Yeah.
You reckon?
He's lucky he's in good nick as well now. He's on it. He's old Mikey boy.
What gear?
I don't know.
Oh, just working out.
Just working out. I don't think he's on gear.
Well, when you say on it, I just automatically assume gear because you work with so many MMA fighters.
Is there any gear that's like actually pretty safe to take?
Legally, you could not say yes to that question ever, even if I knew the answer.
Yeah, but you're not a medical.
Go,
I'm not a medical expert. However,
yeah, but you can get in trouble for talking because it's the controlled drugs.
Is that one of the YouTube's
what I would say is
like payment things?
No, I just think you could probably get. Yeah, predominantly, right. But there are other like legal ramifications. But you could talk about. I mean, like other people talk about steroids, don't they? I suppose, but like from other countries. I don't know. I wouldn't like to get into it, but there are some that are not as. It's typically people. What I will say is people that typically die from abuse of those things is because they abuse them. They don't just use them, and it's normally stuff like all the competitive bodybuilders get into like diuretics and insulin, things that are really dangerous. Rather than say testosterone. But that's like all I would say about it. I think.
Tell us about the YouTube monetization change problems.
How long have you been going here, man?
57 minutes.
Oh, feels like longer. I mean, I said that every week, but
I'm absolutely red hot. It's like summer's somehow arrived in September.
It's nice though, isn't it? Because it's in a matter of months, we're going to be freezing our nipples off in this place.
Yeah.
Assuming we don't move
Probably
somewhere better.
Definitely not going to happen, is it?
All right, never mind. What was I going to say? I don't really know enough about it, but I saw people going kind of nuts on Twitter last night. Are we still calling it Twitter, or do people call it X now?
I think people still call it Twitter, but what you're supposed to call a tweet? An X?
I said that before. I X'd you.
That's just.
I messaged you on X. Yeah, it makes no real sense to me. But why would I always think it's weird when people change the name of very established brands. I think that's weird. Like when they change Sugar Puffs to like Honey Monster, whatever they call them now.
I don't remember that.
I know, but like you're not old. But anyway, by the by, I don't know. They put something out last night that said something like, I've not read it in full, so I should have been better prepared. But I didn't know we were going to talk about it. But I think they're making a change to ads on YouTube, making it so that creators cannot control the types of ads that appear. And by types, I don't mean like who the advertiser is. You have your skippable, non-skippable, those overlay things that you only really see on computers if you watch on there. And that I don't think is inherently the problem, but like the way I read I've not read the actual brief, but what people were saying made me worry. The only thing I worried about really was it's kind of suggests that maybe they might make people have mid-roll ads, which is a bit worrying to me because I really don't like to have them. But I'm pretty much the only person that doesn't like to have them. But like that's just because for me it's important to just enjoy a video without interruption.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't like the idea of, because like now you can say, okay, this person put up a video that's 12 minutes long and there are 6 mid-roll ads in there. That's their decision, right?
Yeah,
and I wouldn't want that to be it to be the case that then becomes me.
Yeah.
By necessity, because that's too many. Like if they put one mid-roll in there, I'd be like, okay, well I can't do anything about it. It happens. But if they put an amount in there which made it
affect like your retention and like people just like fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, well, not just that people. If it made people not want to watch any videos, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure YouTube aren't daft, right? I'm sure they wouldn't do that to the extent that it would affect people's.
What about YouTube commenting on your latest video?
What about it?
They comment on your video. YouTube, like.
Oh yeah, but they do that quite a lot.
Huh.
It generally, if you appear in like trending,
Well, don't see YouTube comment on this fucking podcast, do they?
yeah, because you have to appear in trending. People generally have to watch your video in high volume. Yeah, the funny thing about that was like Linz was over the moon because the actual comment was great to see Mrs. Beard back, which was a bit that's kind of personal to the
yeah.
even though they don't really fucking know who I am, but like I sent that to Linz and she was like, oh my god, like I've made it, 'cause she's impressionable like that, but I think she likes it, and it's, I don't know, man, it's like oftentimes I don't actually even see it because they don't comment like immediately, they comment after it's been on trending. That's why they're commenting, right?
Right.
But that one I did see, yeah, and it's funny to see people replying to that comment from them saying, YouTube fix this, like they're going to give a shit what like Steve from Accrington thinks about, you know, like they're just leaving the comment and they're getting out there so it looks like they care about the people who are making the content. Did you hear about Mr. Beast getting into that beef with some other guy?
No.
He had some, oh man, I don't know the guy, I'm the worst person to talk about this kind of thing, but some guy, right, some like old school, really popular, like PewDiePie, but it wasn't him, you know, like a really popular old school YouTube guy.
Yeah.
Took a lie detector test, apparently, and somebody asked him the question, did Mr. Beast ruin YouTube? And he said yes. And then somebody said, why? And he said, because it then stopped being about the fun and started becoming about the money. And rather than Mr. Beast just thinking, well, I'm the biggest, most watched YouTube creator ever, maybe I could sit this one out because this guy isn't. He started like tweeting, I think he did like 4 or 5 tweets, like defended himself, and of course, that created loads of drama in the
Headlines.
online creator scene. Yeah, and I just thought, like, what? Like, can you imagine? I don't think even I'd get involved. Like, if somebody had been interviewing this guy and he said, Mr. Beard, our BeardMeatsFood's video's shit, and he said, yeah, I wouldn't have been on Twitter like, no, they're not. They're really good, you. You know, like, I feel like, would you not just be? Maybe it's an age thing. How old's Mr. Beast?
Probably 24. It's probably like George.
Is that your age?
Find out.
Yeah, I think maybe that's his attempt at trying to be relatable, or like be part of the people, as opposed to being on this pedestal that.
It's 25.
Fuck.
Fuck almighty, 25. Imagine what you would do with that kind of money at that age.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Is like he just does videos. Like he's a bit like Elon Musk. He's like a robot.
Yeah, but that was a part of what the reply. I don't know it verbatim, but he said something like, "Listen, dude, that thinks my videos ruin YouTube. I put all this time into editing. I don't live in a nice mansion and all that." And I thought that's a bit of a martyr syndrome. That, you know, like,
Yeah.
nobody's buying that every waking minute of the day you're making videos, right? Because like even I get time off and I don't have a fucking team. You know what I mean? So like I'm not knocking either of them, right? But I just thought it was funny that if you that's it's a bit like, you know, when people take the piss out of footballers and they say, "Oh, that football's shit."
Yeah.
That footballer wouldn't, if that had any sense, take the time to go on Twitter and be like,
And reply.
"Actually, well, I'm playing in the best league in Europe and I get paid this much money." You know, you just be like, "Who cares?"
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe
Except for Jadon Sancho. You see all that?
oh yeah, but the funniest part about that, do you see the people that don't know or follow football? Jadon Sancho got left out because they said he'd not reached levels in training which were necessary.
Yeah.
That's what Eric Ten Hag, the team manager, said. Am I right?
Yeah.
And then the first thing he saw released was this footage of training where Bruno Fernandes is doing press-ups, but properly. And it was Jadon Sancho going like this. Like moving like 3 inches, so you're like, maybe he's got a point. But I don't know, man.
Have you seen the Logan Paul fighting that Dylan Dennis? And Tommy Fury's fighting KSI. Seen that?
Really? How do I watch?
I don't know how you watch it.
No, I've not seen it. Although George sent me didn't you send me a video of KSI going like, I'm the guy.
Oh yeah.
I'm the guy
that can see John Cena. I'm the guy that knows Victoria's Secret.
It was
what?
It was a
exactly.
Bit, you know, I thought you just watched too many Muhammad Ali videos.
It's like the worst trash talk. He's not even trash talking anybody. He's just making himself.
I thought it was quite funny. It was quite funny when he said, "I go in the gym and treadmills do push-ups." I did actually laugh at that. I feel like maybe somebody else wrote it, but I give KF. Not that I don't know KSI, right? So I don't want any fans getting mad. But yeah, that was. Who cares about all that, man?
I think it's safe to say we're never going to cross paths, really, are we?
I can't even get in on the old probably because I told him I didn't want to do a video with them. But the old Sidemen charity game, you know, Sidemen versus YouTube All Stars.
I'm trying to find. Do you remember when he had a fight a year ago or whatever? And I said that we managed to get main sponsorship of the fight on his forehead, and I put our logo on. Do you remember that?
No, did this happen?
Yeah, I put it on his Instagram.
Maybe that's so funny I blacked out. That's hilarious, man.
Let me see if I can find it. They were a really bad Photoshop, but because his hairline starts like here.
I'm right there with him, man. My hairline's just it's clinging on for dear life.
I'll find it. I will find it, George. You're gonna have to overlay it. I'll have to send it to you in chat. But yeah, you're like
you mocking the way somebody looks. I don't think we've got any ground.
No, yeah, I'm not
maybe George does.
We're not oil paintings, but it will fine. Well.
Yeah, but no, I don't. Yeah, I can't get on the old charity footy game.
Yeah, but did they not ask you to do it again and you bailed on it?
No, I mean the Sidemen thing. That other one I can't do.
Yeah, but it's because you've just fucked them off at every opportunity, haven't you?
Well, there's only one opportunity, but yeah, I don't regret saying no. I don't want to make a video. That's just, that's not something to be taken personally, is it? I think apparently, speaking of Mr. Beast, he's playing in that, isn't he? He's in goal though. So confident are they in the Americans' ability to play soccer that he's been relegated to a goalkeeper.
Mr. Beast has?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Filling Wembley.
Can you imagine how good that'd feel though? Like if you were playing striker or something, went through on goal and just pure like went around it, but like twice. Took the ball around him twice just for banner.
Took the ball around him once, went back, did it again.
Get it like you used to do like playground, but stop on the line. I'd be begging to do that. Knowing me, I'd go and then get injured after 2 minutes. So
yeah,
probably trying to injure
pull a hamstring or dislocate your shoulder.
Trying to injure fucking say somebody that's like a YouTube personality.
Tommy Fury.
He's quite thick though, isn't he? I mean, like meaty. I don't mean. Although he might be, he's a boxer. But like, yeah, I'd probably get injured after 2 minutes. I'd pull my hamstring or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Almost certainly.
Have we got any festivals to shut this thing down?
We've got one festival to shut this down.
Oh dear.
My mate's missus once gave me a hand job in the back of a cab.
Oh, I saw you put this in the chat.
He's asked me to be best man at his wedding, and I'm trying to work out how many awkward puns I can fit into the speech without giving it away.
Do you think that's true?
It could be. That's not one that I would immediately say that's not true. I mean, like, why would you give somebody a hand job in the... I always thought it was weird, you know, when you see, like, in movies, people getting, like, sexual favours in cars while they're driving. I'd be like, Liz, get the fuck off me, man. I'm trying to drive here. You know what I mean? Like,
you're gonna, like...
if you're going to do stuff like that, you want to be, like, at peace, don't you? You want to be, like, kind of relaxed.
Where does the business go afterwards? I've never had a hand job in a car.
And what's the taxi driver going to...
Come on, George, you're single. This must have happened last week to you.
Don't ask me.
What would the taxi driver be thinking? Like, if I was driving that taxi, I'd be like, you can pack it in back there, you know, like, stop it. Yeah, you're going to hear it, aren't you? I don't know. I feel like that might not be true, but if it is true, I think you'd try and get away from it, and you would... if that were me, I would actually confess that.
Mate, I got in an Uber in London, right, and I think I might have caught something. It was that rough. So, like, imagine...
Fake taxi.
Yeah.
Acting like you don't know what it is.
I don't know. Is that like one of those... I can imagine it. Is this like a porno thing based in a taxi?
I think so. That's right, isn't it, George?
I believe.
See, the thing is, I genuinely didn't know what it was on YouTube. It's like, fake taxi.
I've seen like people wear like the logos and stuff, you know, like fake taxi.
Wear t-shirts with it on.
It's like a brand.
That's grim. That's people like advertise it like a porn film or show. on a
It's
t-shirt.
like the Pornhub logo. We could get some Breaking Bread ones. Instead it said Pornhub, we can put like Breaking Bread, but in their font.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, yeah, because I did the only stands, didn't I? Remember when Jimmy Allen?
Yeah, he was a laugh, right?
Fuck's sake. There's no cuts to be made in this now.
Keep it in. This thing's got to go out today.
Keep it in. I've said loads of nice stuff about Jimmy. Nice hair.
Get in, man.
He's rich. He's handsome. you can't just expect people calling and that you don't get some grief. You're getting grief, man.
Those that are listening, the time now is 10:37 on the 7th. Thursday the 7th of September. If this can be out by lunchtime, just top and tail the thing, right? Don't even put as
Like, do a thumbnail.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh, we need to do thumbnail pictures. Don't fucking forget a thumbnail.
Did you hear Mr. Beast? Just real quick, George.
Did you hear?
Real quick. He apparently he looked at them, and he's a big metrics guy. He discovered that his videos are watched more when he closes his mouth on the thumbnails, so he doesn't do the whole like Edvard Munch scream thing.
Okay.
When he closes his mouth, more people watch.
What are we going to title this thumbnail? Don't shit on a plane.
Shit plane. No, we that's terrible.
Poogate.
I think we could go with. I don't know.
Squirting arseholes.
That's George's job. I ain't paid to do that.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Well said, George.
Figure it out in post.
We're gonna fix it.
Get that on a
post.
t-shirt.
We're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for watching /listening /tolerating, and we'll catch you in the next one.